Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and if you're new here, my name is Edward Smith and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, you and I are going to be looking at the top 5 best free DAWs of 2020. So before we get this video started, I'd first like to thank today's video sponsor, DistroKid. And as many of you guys know, I use DistroKid to release my own music out there, and I did use other platforms before, but really struggled to get the full control of my music the way DistroKid offers it to you. And something I struggled with personally was creating a new artist profile, because there was an artist out there with the same name that I had and I needed to create a new one, and other softwares didn't allow me to do this, but with DistroKid it was super simple and super easy. DistroKid has also added some new features that really help in terms of Instagram lyrics, where you play a song and your lyrics are automatically running through the lines the way they do with professional songs out there. But other than that, if you guys really enjoy DistroKid and want to test it out, please use my link down below and you'll get 7% off, and they'll really give you the great service they've always been giving me. So the free DAWs that I picked for this video are, in my opinion, the best DAWs out there that you can get right now to start as a music producer, especially for beginners. And yes, they have their limitations. You can't get certain features that the more advanced versions have that do cost money, but to start out you actually don't need much more. To start off this top 5 video, the first free DAW that we're going to be looking at is TRACKTION's WAVEFORM. TRACKTION Corporation usually releases a new version of their excellent WAVEFORM DAW every year, and when they do so, they also release an older version of their DAW for free. It's normally from a few versions before, and so last year they hit version 10 on WAVEFORM and released TRACKTION 7 as the free version. This year they've announced version 11 of WAVEFORM and simultaneously announced WAVEFORM Free, which is essentially WAVEFORM version 8 from a couple of years ago. It's difficult to overemphasize how awesome this is. WAVEFORM Free is a fully fledged DAW that only a couple of years ago was TRACKTION's flagship product. WAVEFORM works a bit differently than other DAWs, but has a very intuitive and fast workflow. You have unlimited Midi and audio tracks, plus a suite of professional grade processing, EQ and mixing effects. It has some great editing within Midi clips where you can generate patterns and detailed automation. In fact, automation and modulation are everywhere because you can apply LFOs to any parameter in your project. WAVEFORM 8 introduced a number of cool instruments, including a sampler and FM synthesizer. It also brought in MIDI chord progressions and melodic pattern generators. There's the sort of depth here you'd only find in top-end DAWs. It will do vocal comping, step sequencing, track freezing, MIDI learning, time and pitch warping, and sync to video. It also fully supports VST plugins and instruments and will run on Windows, Mac OS and Linux. WAVEFORM Free is comprehensive, different, creative, adventurous, and you know there's a further route to go in WAVEFORM 11 if you want to progress further. The next free DAW that we're going to be looking at is LMMS. LMMS is an open source and community driven, meaning that it's constantly evolving as people put time into the development. But it's in a good place with a great cross-platform feature set. It goes for the single window approach and offers unlimited audio and MIDI tracks. It has a great inbuilt pattern-based sequencer along with the usual MIDI piano roll editors, and all the regular recording and arranging tools that you'd expect. The strength of LMMS comes from the content. The community has developed 16 synthesizers and tons of effects that come with it. There are virtual analog synths, SID bass synths, Yamaha chip emulations, and a lot of chiptune bits and pieces. It supports sound fonts, giga and ultrasound formats for massive sample-based instruments, but it also supports VST plugins, so you can easily expand your sonic collection. The interface is clean and inviting, and you can move projects between Windows, Mac OS and Linux without any bother. Being open source often suggests that it will be complex and difficult to get into, but LMMS is designed by musicians to give a simple and effective way to make music. The next free DAW that we're going to be looking at is Apple's GarageBand. GarageBand is the annoyingly good music making platform that has excelled on iOS and just refuses to go away. Built by the people behind Logic Pro, it has a certain gravitas that peeks out from behind the rather toy-like interface. But the interface works, it brings people in. It makes it so easy to start recording, sampling, playing with instruments and writing songs. It's right there, beautifully touch enabled, and even though it was originally built for macOS, it simply shines on the iPad. It has drummers, loops and rhythms built. You'll find live instruments, synthesizers and samplers all wired in and ready to go. You can add vocals, guitars, all processed by built-in amp models and effects. Being on the iPad or on your phone, you can mix and tweak on the bus or in the park. When you're ready, you can hit a button to publish to Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, or whatever. It has its limitations, like 32 tracks, but that's as much to do with the limitations of iOS hardware as anything else. And it can route Midi out to external instruments, but it does communicate well with audio bus and accepts AU plugins for further expansion. As something that's installed by default on your iPad, it's a pretty awesome place to start making music for free. The next free DAW that we're going to be looking at that's great for beginners is Cakewalk by BandLab. It once was a proper DAW with a proper price tag called Sonar, but when BandLab bought Cakewalk, they decided on a new approach. Cakewalk by BandLab is a full-fledged professional DAW that you can use now for free. It is for Windows only, and in fact, BandLab says they are working with Microsoft to build in better support for the Surface Pen and Surface Dial, multi-touch and Bluetooth MIDI. That's going to keep it a Windows exclusive and perfect for people using touch-enabled Windows computers, hybrids and tablets. Here are some of the highlights. Cakewalk by BandLab has a 64-bit audio engine with plug-in support for DirectX and VST3 effects and virtual instruments. There's ARA support for integrated Melodyne pitch correction, and the Audio Quality Pro channel brings professional effects directly into the mixer console with reverbs, resonant filtering, dynamic compression, EQ, and tape emulation. One recent innovation was the ability to save and record different mixes within the same project. Of course, it has unlimited audio and MIDI tracks, something not often found in free software. Despite its award-winning interface, some people just don't like it. It can appear busy and cluttered at times. It has a workflow that doesn't gel for everyone. And that's why there's such great competition in the DAW market. All these bits of recording software do very similar things, and yet can have vastly different approaches and ways of working. And the final free DAW that we're going to be looking at that's great for any beginner that's starting out is PreSonus Studio One Prime. Releasing simpler versions of a flagship product is a tried and tested way of bringing users into your ecosystem. The thing with Prime is that it isn't half bad and has most of the features you'd expect to find in a DAW you'd pay for. It has the same streamlined single window interface that's great on high DPI screens and touch enabled. It has unlimited audio and MIDI tracks, including multiple MIDI track editing and audio comping. Version 4 brings in a new instrument and drum editor along with drum and melodic patterns for pattern-based arranging. Automation, mixing, sidechaining, resampling and normalization are all there. However, there's also quite a bit missing when compared to the flagship version. Most problematic is the lack of support for VST plugins. It comes with a single workstation sampler synth called Presence XT, but that's about it. And so in terms of sequencing virtual instruments, it's sorely lacking. And without the VST support, you can't add other free instruments that you might have. You can, however, pay for the MiTi virtual analog synth as an add-on. The other cool Studio One features are also missing, like the scratch pads, chord track, harmonic editing, and Melodyne integration. But Studio One Professional is a top-level and innovative DAW, and there are reasons why they charge you for it. There's enough in Studio One Prime to keep the budding producer happy, and it builds up a knowledge base of the workflow for the inevitable upgrade to artist or professional versions. If it had VST support, it could have a crack at being king of the heap of freeware DAWs, but as is, I can't complain. So that's the end of this video of the top 5 best free DAWs of 2020, and just a reminder, I have released my own merchandise if you want to check it out. It's all about studio gear and it would really help the channel if you could find something there that you like. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you loved it, subscribe down below, and I will see you for another video next time.